Well, it's that time, everybody. Summer is over and school is starting.
Summer is over, school is starting.
In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 most important things you need to do before that first student walks through that door. But before we get to the video, let's play that intro. The first thing on our list is make sure you attend all mandatory meetings. In my district, students return to school on Thursday, but all staff needs to report to school on Monday. And so that gives us 3 days in which we have before students even step onto campus. One of those days is dedicated to district meetings.
Yawn.
Now, I know they're doing their best to make the meetings exciting and that they have a welcome back breakfast and usually a speaker, and they'll kind of give us the focus for the district for that year. But man, the honest truth is this, that all us teachers can think about while we're at this meeting is, man, I gotta get to my classroom and I gotta get it ready. Students are gonna be here in 3 days. So as much effort as they put into it, I'm not sure it's the best use of our time. But regardless, we have to attend those meetings, so make sure you go to the district meetings. Then we have one day dedicated to meetings on our actual school site. Now, don't be wrong. We'd rather be in our classroom preparing, but at least these meetings, the information shared here are specific for our school, so they directly impact us more. And a lot of times there's some really good information you need to get from these meetings. Maybe there's different kind of rules or procedures we'll put in place this year, and you have to know what those new rules or procedures are. Maybe it's a new way of passing out hall passes, or how students are going to get their schedules, or how we order supplies. But whatever they are, those things will directly impact you. And if you don't attend those meetings, those school meetings, man, you're going to be lost and feel out of the loop when that school year starts.
Boy, am I lost.
And the third day, man, that is what we've been waiting for. It is a full day of us in our classroom getting it ready for our students. And that's what the rest of the video is going to be about, is what do we do on that day when we prepare for the students to return back to class. So let's get on with that list. Number 2 on our list is have your desk ready, the room ready, and the seating charts created. So last year was my first year in this classroom. We actually moved to a different school, and this is a brand new school, and so hence it's a brand new classroom. And I must have spent several hours rearranging my room, trying to figure out where I'm gonna put my teacher desk, how the student desk are gonna be set up, and I tried all different configurations. I tried it where the students were in a group facing each other, so I had different groups of that going on. I had it where students were actually facing the back of the room. Don't ask me why, but I tried that way. I thought, let's give that a shot. I actually had it where students were facing towards the middle of the room and facing each other. But ultimately, what I decided upon was to kind of go back to a more traditional model where students are in rows facing the front of the room. And that is currently what I have now. Whatever you do, decide how the classroom can be set up before that first day of school, because you know this, that when the school year gets going, we find ourselves short on time. We find ourselves struggling to kind of keep up with the pace of everything. And the last thing you want to have to worry about is trying to rearrange your room to make it how you want it to be. So try to make sure that is put in place, how you want your room to be organized and how the desks are going to be set up. Then once your classroom is set up, the next thing is create a seating chart.
Oh, we need a seating chart.
I know there are teachers out there that don't have seating charts and kind of have an open classroom, students can come in and sit wherever they want. And I think that's it's a good idea. But in my experience, unless you have really, really strong classroom management, that's going to be more headache than it's worth. And the last thing you want to have to deal with is behavior issues on a daily basis. So please, 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 please make sure you have a seating chart ready to go on day 1. For me, that seating chart is the foundation for my classroom management system. It allows me to keep track of things and allows me to hold students accountable. So you'll always see me walking around with a clipboard and my seating chart. In fact, if you want to see exactly how I use that, I'll make sure I include a link below in the description of the video that actually shows you how I use that seating chart for classroom management. But once again, man, without that, it would be a year of struggle. So please make sure you have a seating chart. And that doesn't mean you can't go changing it later on. You can definitely change your seating chart, and you can definitely change the classroom as well, but it becomes a little bit harder to do once the school year begins. Number 3, make sure you have all your copies ready to go. There is nothing more stressful than trying to make copies before school starts or in between your periods, just trying to make those last bit of copies that you need to. It is a stressful situation, and inevitably there is a line forming out the door, or worst case scenario, the copy machine is broken.
He's struggling with a copy machine.
So don't put yourself in that stressful situation. Get those copies done before the first day of class. For my class, there's 2 things I need to make copies of. One is the syllabus, and of course, we go over the syllabus in my class. We talk about the rules, procedure, consequences, expectations. All that's kind of covered in the syllabus. So I always have a copy of that ready to go. And then the other thing I definitely need to make a copy of for the first week is an assignment called the Nacierma, and I use that assignment as a way of discussing my philosophy on teaching. And how I describe that to my students. Now, if you want a copy of either one of those, I'll leave in the description below. I'll put down my email address. Just send me email, and I'll be glad to send you a copy of either one of those or both of those. Now, on average, I have about 30 kids per class, and I have 5 classes, so I need to make at least 150 copies. But to play it safe, just so I don't work into that stressful situation, to play it safe, I always make about 30 more just in case for whatever happens. So I'll basically make 180 copies of each of those before the first day of school begins. 4th on the list is plan out that first week. Take time before school starts to plan out your entire week. And what I mean by that is know exactly what you're going to be doing each day, and know exactly what you're going to do the moment the kids walk into the classroom to the moment they leave. Now, we should be doing this pretty much all year long, and I try to do this all year long, but those first couple of days, man, they are crucial. And so I will plan out to a T what I'm doing each day, so that way I can make sure I get off on the right foot. I used to have a principal that always said this at the meetings. We would come over a new concept or try a new plan for the school, and she would say, we are building the plane as we are flying it. Which means, man, we got to get this thing going, and we're going to figure it all out as we get going, but we have to get going. And that's what teaching's all about, man. We plan, but when we're in it, man, we are in it, we're working it, and then we realize we're trying to kind of catch up as we need to make things work. So with that in mind, plan out the best you can for the first week. So even though we might be building the plane as we are flying it, if we can have a smooth takeoff, that's going to put us ahead for the school year.
Ain't it ready to take off?
Now, with all that said, I usually do not plan beyond the first week, at least in detail. I mean, I'll have an idea what I'm going to be teaching and what I'm going to be doing, but as far as the actual details of each day, I usually don't go beyond the first week. And the reason for that is because things will come up. And I don't want to waste my time planning out details knowing that things are going to come up and kind of mess up my entire schedule. So with that said, plan out your first week, but I wouldn't in detail, but I wouldn't really go beyond that because, like I said, things are going to come up, and that's exactly what happened last year. And that leads us into number 5. The last thing on our list is have an activity or video ready to go to fill in that time if you have more time than you thought you were going to have. So last year, I did exactly what I just mentioned in this video. I went to all the meetings. I had my seating chart, my classroom set up and ready. I made all my copies, and I knew exactly what I was going to be teaching that first week. But things don't always go as planned. You see, the office was having trouble working on students' schedules. So on the first day, students kept trickling into my classroom. We pretty much did not get all the schedules out that first day till about 3rd or 4th period, which means periods 1, 2, 3 were kind of just wasted time because I couldn't start anything because students were coming in, students were going out. So that first day was pretty much shot for me regarding schedules. And then here comes the second day, and they're still having difficulties. The ones they made before were wrong. They said to move students around. Bottom line is, I lost about 3 days at the beginning of the school year. 3 days in which I couldn't do my normal rules and procedures and my normal plan of action. So what do you do? So if things don't go as you plan, and suddenly I have these students for more time or less time I thought, I had to fill in that time with something. So what do? You know, you show a movie.
Hang on, it's movie time!
Luckily I have Netflix, and luckily the movie Luca just came out. It's a good movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, I would go see it. But that came out, and so I must have watched Luca about 3 to 4 times that first week as the office is trying to figure everything else out. So during that chaotic times, I had something to fall back upon to fill in the time in which I had to cover. And I couldn't do my rules and procedures, so I had to do something. Now, even though it was a rough start, last year turned out to be one of my best years ever, so I am thankful for that. But the lesson learned is have something ready to go if need be. Thank you for watching the video, and if you like more tips and tricks of the trade, just click on one of the links above here. And remember, stay zesty.